Today, this little hognose snake is getting shipped to her new home, which was actually one of our subscribers. So I'm going to show you how to package up a snake for shipping. To ship your reptile, you'll of course need your box. You'll have to line it with some styrofoam inserts to help maintain a steady temperature on the inside. And depending on the temperature of where you're shipping out of or where you're shipping to, you will most likely either need a heat pack or a cool pack to keep them comfortable inside. And last but not least, you'll need some newspaper to stuff around the open gaps in the box to kind of hold everything steady inside. Note that it is very important not to use hand warmers that you get like at Walmart or the dollar store. Sure, they are cheaper, but they do not maintain a steady temperature, so an animal can get overheated if you use these. Not saying it will, but there's a good chance of it, so it's better just to spend the extra 50 cents or $1 to get the safe, animal-approved heating packs. First, we want to line the inside of our box with styrofoam, and you can buy kits online that come with a box and styrofoam that fits perfectly inside. Or if you want, you can recycle a box like what I've done today, and you can buy this styrofoam at like Home Depot or craft stores in big sheets, and then you can just cut it to size. Next, since I'm only shipping one snake, I'm going to put a layer of newspaper at the bottom for a little bit of padding. Next, for ventilation, you're going to want to take a screwdriver and poke a couple holes inside the box. Not too many because you don't want the temperature to fluctuate too much, but just enough so that there's some fresh air going inside. This is the fun part. I'll of course make sure it goes through the styrofoam too. And I'm just going to do one on each side. It's only one snake and a small box, so that's really all you need. And then we'll put our snake in, and when you're packaging up the deli cup for your snake, and I do recommend using delis because they provide a bit more structure, actually a lot more structure than if you were to ship them in a bag. And on the inside, I fill it about 2/3 of the way with bedding, and that way if the snake accidentally gets tipped or the box gets tipped in transit, it doesn't just fall to the other side of the deli, and the bedding inside kind of keeps it suspended in a way. Now we're going to put our little hognose snake in. I should also mention, before I put her in there, I did give her a little quick drink of water because I always like to do that before they're in a box for about 12 to possibly 24 hours, depending on how traveling goes. Now, I use overnight, or priority overnight, so she should be guaranteed by 10:30 a.m. the next morning, so it shouldn't be too long in the box at least. With her inside, I do have a little bit of extra space on top, so I'm actually going to fill it in with some newspaper so that she doesn't slide a little bit in transit. Everything should stay in its place this way. And if I was using a bigger box and there were bigger gaps in the corners, I would also take newspaper and stuff it into the corners too. But the deli is pretty snug inside of the styrofoam, so I'm not really worried about it sliding back and forth at all. Of course, I always have to put a note in to the people who are getting the snake. And then the last thing you put in would be either a heat pack or a cool pack to keep them warmer or colder. But believe it or not, the temperature right now and where she's going is perfect for shipping. It's going to be in like the mid-70s to lower 80s, so I'm actually instead just going to put in these cool packs at room temperature and not frozen. Because the more things you put inside the box that are at room temperature, especially liquids that change temperature at a very slow rate, the more likely that it will be to stay at a comfortable temperature for the snake inside. Now, if I was using these cool packs like they're intended to, if I froze them to keep her cooler during a hot summer day in transit, then I would take the frozen cool packs, wrap them in paper towels, and tape those to the lid of the styrofoam before placing them in. And the same goes for a heat pack. If you use one of these, tape it to the lid before placing it in, because that gives the snake a little bit of a buffer between the heating or cooling element and the snake's deli cup, because you don't want these directly touching the deli in case it were to get the snake too warm or too cold as a result. So anyway, we're going to stick in our room temperature bubbles. I'm not taping them because it's okay if they touch the deli. It's just in there to help keep everything as close to room temperature as possible. We'll put on our lid and close it up. going to attach your shipping label. Now, federal law requires that you write live harmless reptiles on the box, along with the animal's common name and scientific name. So we're going to add it right on the side here. Now, you can also instead write non-venomous reptile. Basically, you have to assure the delivery man that the animal inside is not dangerous in any way. Now, this is federal law, so you can't skip out on any of these facts. And you also have to include the quantity of each animal inside of the box, which I'll be adding to the other side. Now I'll also add some up arrows to kind of help with the direction that the box is oriented in. I'm not sure if they actually help, but I figure it doesn't hurt. And if it prevents the box from getting tipped over one time because one person sees the arrows, then it'll be worth it. And now she's ready to go, so let's go drop her off. We're gonna take the snake mobile for this run. By the way, don't just drop them off at any FedEx center. You actually should call them first to make sure that they will be willing to take in a snake to be shipped out, because a lot of them won't. So we know that these people are okay with us dropping off snakes periodically. I have a snake. I just want me to leave her here. Yep. Okay, thank you. And now we just keep our fingers crossed that she makes it just fine, and we'll know by tomorrow morning. See ya!